what was emotional intelligence at work like sometimes? Like, because I hear a lot of people, and even I personally sometimes, I struggle with productivity. Not all the time people are productive. Not all the time they are probably aligned also or motivated to, accomplish on a particular project. And I'm sure there is something to learn from you there as well. So how did you? Is there any particular thing that you would love to, tell us that you did peculiarly different from others, or maybe something particularly that you did?
Yeah, sure. See, I was an engineering manager, which means I had to manage multiple projects and multiple customers. Okay. See, 80% of your projects will go as per schedule. There is no issue. So you are not paid for that 80%. This is something that I used to tell myself. 20% of the projects don't go well. There will be a lot of issues. You are actually paid for that. Like I used to tell myself, I am paid to be the project manager for these 20%. That means 80% of my salary is for this 20% projects. 20% of my salary is to ensure this 80% projects are going smoothly, right? So that is the first thing. The second thing is that whoever joins my team, I would just take them out for a walk, very informal talk. I'd ask them, what is your hobby? If somebody says trekking, okay, good. Somebody says writing, okay, good. Like that, I would just have that in my mind or write it in my Excel sheet. This person, trekking, like that. So when there is a crisis in the project, I would go to the trekker. Like if he is there in the team, I would go to the trekker. Say, in trekking, don't you face challenges? You face, right? So how do you handle it? Then he will tell something. So handle it this way only. Okay. Likewise, I would go to the writer. I said, is it that every day morning you get a thought to write? You don't get a thought to write. Some days you will get, some days you don't get, but sometimes you have to write. Then how do you bring in that creativity? So there is a way that you bring in that creativity. Bring it now, here. And coding, so they were all software programmers. So software programmers are the most creative people. So bring in that creativity here now. So that way, for these 20% projects, I would not conduct very formal stand-up meetings or anything. I would go to their desk and just put a shoulder or have a pat on their shoulder and say, you can do it. First of all, you can do it. That's why I have assigned you. Just do it, okay? So don't worry. If it fails, I am there, no, because Nokia or Motorola is paying me to handle the risks the customer will raise and the all his outbursts. I am paid to handle. You don't worry. You just work on the project. So I would not cascade that stress to them. So because of which, with lot of ease and grace, the team used to be productive.
And what was your rationale of not conducting the formal stand-ups?
See, when you conduct a formal stand-up, first of all, they will come with a stress. Because see, 20% of the 80% stand-ups you can conduct because they're going smooth. They'll say, we finished this.
Business as usual almost.
20% they're already stressed that they didn't meet their deliverable. Something they're stuck. So they will spend their time or in their coffee chat how to justify to Susila why the project did not do or why the deadline is not met. So I don't want them to waste that time. They should have that freedom to come to me and say with me only, Sushila, this is not working, so this is what it is. So that freedom, if I have to give them, I shouldn't be questioning them in a group. Because all of them are very intelligent. They will come up with intelligent answers. Justifications of why it's not working. So, and they will formally, scheme it up in the cafeteria and come to me. All that I don't want, because it's a waste of productivity for them also, for me also.
Absolutely.
So that's why I would not conduct formal stand-up meetings.
And also brings like some form of distance with you.
Yeah,
and the team,
exactly.
Right?
Then they will treat me as authority, not like, but I used to tell them, see, I am your peer, okay? If you make it work only, I will get paid. Otherwise, I will be fired as a project manager. So my job is in your hands, not the other way. Which is actually true if you look at it. But the way we cover it up is by showing authority.
And now switching back to your your life at home and on your personal front, when you were away to ISB or you shared in our preparatory chat that how you went to US also for a year when your son was 9 months old.
Oh yes.
Right? Was there any fear, any guilt or as a mother? Because I hear, I'm not a mother yet, but I hear that, a lot of working moms have a lot of guilt. But did you have any of it, and how did you deal with it at all?
See, I'm not a superwoman.
Hmm.
Okay? All mothers, the moment the child comes onto the planet, will go through fear. How will my son turn out? Or how will my child turn out? And they will go through fear of, whether I will be able to raise him or her properly. So that fear is all pervasive. It's not unique to me. Okay? Guilt also is that, am I doing enough? So guilt and fear are there for anybody, working mothers, non-working mothers and all. Working mothers, we hype it up a little bit because we are not physically with them. We are not physically with them. So I do go through spaces of guilt and fear, and then I have coping mechanisms for it. Like how I cope up is I ask my children, like, when did you miss me? So they say the instances and they weep that, we wish you were there at that time, you were not available for me, like that. So at least it comes out of their system, and then we look at the possible ways we can address it together. It is not a rosy picture, by the way, it is not easy. But if you want to handle multiple aspects in your life, then certain things you have to keep doing ongoingly to make it work.
And like, what are those?
Like asking children,
Being
what
in
is their
communication,
being in communication, what is their expectation, then talking to my husband, seeing how he can support. Like, if is there any way that he can handle this aspect when I am not there, then talking to my mother, because my mother-in-law is not there now, so she's expired recently. So I asked my mother, so can she, call my children more often, speak to them certain aspects, so to see, who can speak to them such that they are comfortable. And my friends, good friends, like that.
So you make sure that their certain emotional needs are taken care of.
Taken care. But does that mean it has completely made my guilt and fear zero? No, it has not. It will never be also. This is something that I want to tell all mothers, whether working or not, guilt and fear will always be there. So don't try to, make it zero. Try to address it to a minimal, workable level. Your mother is there, right? No,
Yes.
does she not go through guilt and fear?
She does. I think,
So every mother goes through.
and she's been a full-time mom to us for the longest time, and I can say for sure that
She goes through
it.
Maybe she feels, oh, today I could have made this extra dish.
Yeah.
I made only 3 dishes, I could have made 1 extra dish more, so that guilt will be there.
Yeah, or could have contributed. I mean, actually, who knows, right? Like, she could have thought that she could have contributed in X many ways also, which she didn't, or something like that.
Yes. So most mothers, especially working mothers, I have seen, they try to quit their job after their first child. After they think that, now I don't know, my personal view is not required. It's not required. You can manage still without, but of course, certain things you need to be clear that you should not use your head in certain places. And you should do certain things, you shouldn't do certain things. It's like you should have a mentor or a coach who can help you in those aspects, such that you are productive and effective at work.